I'm John Beaudin, and here's part one of our conversation. It's our second conversation with Joe Bouchard, formerly of Blue Oyster Cult. Joe was there for the big albums, Secret Treaties, in 74, Agents of Fortune, 1976, Don't Fear the Reaper, Spectres the following year, and remember, Fire of Unknown Origin. With Burnin' For You, Joe was with Blue Oyster Cult from 1970 to 1986. He has a brand new album. There are links in the description where you can pick it up. By the way, what are your students? Is there students or anybody? And I know cowbell will come up, but besides the cowbell, what do people ask you about the most? Besides the Don't Fear the Reaper?
Ooh, I don't know.
Is that a big one? It's cowbell.
Yeah, by far, Reaper. Is Burning for You is also a big one. I've done astronomy with students. They've done some incredible versions of astronomy with some of my students. I'm retired from teaching now, but back when I'd had a great time doing that.
But would they ask you about Metallica's version? I mean, would they?
We'd talk about that.
Yeah.
That was another thing that brought in a lot of people. Like, how did you get that? I don't know. Lars said he wanted to do it. And James, they're old fans of BOC.
The whole feel of that song, your original version.
Yeah.
The whole feel of that song is just, to me, that is just one of those stare at the speaker tunes, from the band's history. I really like that one.
Well, that was a magical time. We were recording at it was Studio C for Columbia, which is this old church, and I had heard that it had a great history. First of all, the symphony orchestra it was a huge studio, and they had, I don't know, a half a dozen grand pianos there, and they had this huge Boisendorfer with 95 keys on it. It's like extra big, and that's what Alan played on. It's this huge piano. And that was the studio that Miles Davis did Kind of Blue. Wow. And that was the studio that I didn't. Stravinsky recorded the orchestra in there. Dave Brubeck did Take Five in that studio, and now it's condos. We closed it down. It's gone. But it was an old church. And, it was big enough to be able to put the whole orchestra in. But, it worked well on that particular song.
People always say, wow, we got in the room with that person. Oh, we toured with that person. I'm going, you do the work, you get there. I believe in luck, but you got to do the work. You've got to be able to, be cool, get along with people. Through the years, what has been for you? Obviously, you must have become friends with, who's the guys who through the years that you really connected with outside the band?
Well, I can tell you a little story. I went to see Metallica. This is about 1995.
Who recorded one of your songs?
And I didn't even know if they knew who I was.
Yeah.
But I got a backstage pass, and we're all waiting. They had everybody held up in the catering room. Everybody was in the catering room. And so I had the nice sort of management pass. Everybody else had to wait in there. So I'm walking down the hall, and I look over and, there's the bass player from Metallica. And I said, Jason, it's Joe Bouchard. He says, "You're Joe Bouchard?" And he grabs my hand. He would not stop. He would not let go of my hand.
That's got to feel good, man. That's got to feel good.
I was like, and they were just in front of 20,000 people, and everybody's going crazy, But I felt like I'm not really anybody. I'm just some guy hanging out backstage. So So I said, Jason, come on down to the catering room. I'll introduce you to the whole room. You know, you can sign some autographs and talk to my friends.
Yeah.
And all my friends there from the guitar workshop were there. And he's sitting down and says, that guy meant so much to me. So 2 years later, they record my song. They do a song I co-wrote with my brother and our manager, Sandy, Astronomy. And it changed my life. It really changed my life. I was doing all kinds of different things at the time. I was working in a publishing company. I learned the book business. I got my master's degree in music. You know, doing things, all of this kind of crazy stuff that I wanted to do. Go back to college. I've heard Rivers Cuomo went back to Harvard after he was a rock star. So I felt like I'm kind of following in Weezer's footsteps.
Yeah, I was just listening to their version of Astronomy this morning. Yeah.
Oh, God, is that good?
Yeah.
I mean, some of the fans still love the original version better. But to me, they did a brilliant job. I love James. Gives the hair stands up on the back of my neck when I hear James singing. You know, the melody that I wrote while I was walking on the beach. You know,
what was your reaction when you found out they were going to record it?
Well, at first I heard they were going to record a Blue Oyster Cult song. It was like the early days of the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the old AOL chat board.
Right.
Your America Online chat board. And I said, oh, well, that's great. You know, they'll probably do Reaper or one of the usuals, you know. But then a couple of weeks later, I found out they're doing Astronomy. And I said, wow, that's great. So I go down to my mailbox, my post box, and there's a cassette in my post box. I took cassette. You remember cassettes?
Mm-hmm.
I took the cassette out and put it in my car, my Datsun old radio, and I'm listening to Astronomy by Metallica. And I'm going, holy mackerel, this is good. I wanted to jump up and down, but I was driving. But I was really excited. And I'll never forget that feeling. So then we went and we met the rest of the guys. We went to the premiere of the album at a place in New York City. And they were really nice to us. And they were happy that we were happy that the way they did it. You know, not everybody is happy when you get a cover. You know, sometimes they're like, covers.
Yeah.
It changed my life. So then after that, I said, I got to get back to recording. First of all, I quit my day job. And I said, I've got to get back into writing songs again. I mean, this is a tremendous pat on the back as a songwriter to get a cover that was that huge all over the world. I would get statements from like, you know, Brazil and Argentina and France and Germany, and like, wow, they're huge everywhere. You know, I mean, it's just luck. It doesn't happen. And I said, it's going to happen once, probably will never happen again. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
My Way or the Highway, saw the video.
Yeah.
Great riff, soaring vocals. This is stuff that I grew up with. I love. Tell me about that tune.
Well, it was based on, I was obsessed with the old TV series Route 66. And my girlfriend would say, why are you watching that stuff? It's terrible. And I said, wow, this is exciting. You know, two guys in a 1960 Corvette. So, and they're going all these adventures, you know, I don't know. You're probably too young to remember that. But it was in 1960 to 64. I was probably a young teenager, a very young teenager. And I thought that was about the most exciting thing. And to be able to travel like that was, you know, awesome to me, you know. And so I started with a riff that I called 59 Corvette. That was the riff. And it kind of sat around for a couple of years, but as I was working on this album, it popped back up, and I said, this could be good. And then the words it seemed to come together all at once,
By the way,
putting together.
I can hear you when you sing, because I don't get lyric sheets barely ever, right? I like getting them, but I understand it's something that takes time, and especially when the album's not out yet. But with you, I could understand every word you were saying. I could understand, and I could follow the story, and I'd say, that makes a difference to me as a musicologist.
Yeah, I got a new mixer for this album. Normally, I mix everything myself, and it's a lot of work. It takes months, to mix an album properly. But Albert, my brother Albert, found this guy Steve Hardy. I don't know. I think he's from South Carolina. He's living in South Carolina now, and you send him the stuff, and he sends it back. And the vocals, especially the vocals, are so well placed. It makes even Albert a singer. He can make Albert sound good. So, no, I'm just kidding. He's my brother. I love him. I
talked to him. Yeah. When I talked to him, I was saying, because you and I so enjoyed our first interview. I said, I think he said something like, "Hey, what about me, man?" I'm going, I don't know. I really like talking to Joe. It's a lot of fun. You got a hard act to follow. Hope you enjoyed our conversation with Joe Bouchard. It's the second time we've ever talked to him, and he's always a pleasure to talk to. Links to the new album in the description of this video. Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. And the 2 P's of how you can help us out. Patreon. You can join our Patreon and get access to our videos sometimes over a month and a half early. Or you can make a donation on PayPal. All the links are in the description. More from Joe Bouchard coming up in the next 2-3 days. This is Rock History Music.